I have appeared in, or I've produced 0 television shows. I have not near the success that in the hunting world that our guest and witness here, Mr. Shockey, has had. I would be the individual that watches Mr. Shockey's shows. And I want to thank you for coming here and testifying today to the impact that it has. I have been a guide in the north, and I have been a conservation officer and a national park warden. I have been issued firearms as a matter of my duties in that capacity. And Mr. Shockey, you did allude to this in your opening statement that the Yukon, where Rogue River Outfitters is located, the Liberal government of the Yukon, implemented for their conservation officers the AR-10. An AR-10 is a .308 caliber semi-automatic rifle for their conservation officers. They did this actually after the order in council in May of 2020, which moved the AR-10 from the non-restricted to the prohibited category. And the Yukon Liberal government at the time said that this was the best option available for the protection of their conservation officers in dealing with wildlife, human-wildlife conflict and interactions, and to protect the general public in a situation from dangerous wildlife. So I guess my question to you, Mr. Shockey, given the fact that you've hired numerous Indigenous guides as part of your operation, you've worked with folks in those communities, is the life of a conservation officer more or less on par with the life of a hunter or a guide or anybody else working in these dangerous situations, and they should have access to the same type of stopping power that a conservation officer would, because conservation officers can't be everywhere?
All lives are equal.
Sorry, I didn't hear the answer, Mr. Chair. Could you repeat that, Mr. Shockey?
All lives are equal.
Very much. Now, you said in your opening remarks that that there's a significant impact on the Indigenous communities should the tone, and I believe, could you give us an indication of what the tone is right now this debate and this discussion is creating in the hunting community? And your fear is that the tone would actually keep the vast number of guests who come from out of country to northern Canada, and what the economic impact would be. Who are the communities and what are the job opportunities in these northern remote communities if lodges and outfitters that offer hunting opportunities lose a significant portion of their clientele because of the confusion that's being caused by this debate?
The first part of your question, what's the feeling or the sense that hunters, we feel fear that we're being attacked, as I said earlier, vilified, marginalized. We feel that we're not respected, and there's a measure of distrust. I keep hearing weapon, weapon, weapon. I don't have a weapon. That's a subjective opinion based on every situation that a firearm's used. I don't have a weapon, but I keep hearing that I have these weapons. I don't. I keep hearing that they're firearms for military purposes. My classic English double rifle, break action, 2 bullets in, close it up, shoot it, Turkish walnut engraved, it's worth $90,000. It's on this list. It's going to be prohibited. It's like it's never been used in any type of a crime, and certainly not in any military application. So this is where I, as a hunter, I hear this and I'm listening, and I appreciate the emotions involved. I mean, it's a terrible, terrible tragedy, and that can never be understated. On the other hand, like I said earlier, a way of life is also important to many people, especially us. I feel like from the Hunger Games, I'm from District 12 and I'm a tribute, and you guys are the capital. You don't understand us, and the communities in the north. If there's a ban, or if there's a protest against coming to Canada, a boycott, it would be catastrophic. I mean, where does the money come to these communities from? Tourism? That's not realistic. It doesn't happen in most remote communities. Most of the money that comes into the communities from outside sources is from hunting and outfitting. The jobs are there. Our television show on the Aboriginal People's Television Network, Yukon Harvest, it's all First Nations people and Métis. So like I say, that the a boycott would be catastrophic, and that's just the passing of C-21. I'm not getting into the individual amendments and whatnot. You cannot underestimate the effect and the lives that it would cost. They're already struggling in these communities, and to throw this on top of it, it's well-intentioned, but I have a feeling that there's going to be unintended consequences because of it.
Thank you, Mr. Shockey. Thank you, Mr. Calkins.